Now, the EU's Digital Covid Cert came into effect across Europe on the 1st of July, allowing EU citizens to travel freely across the bloc without having to quarantine. It's set to be brought in here in a fortnight's time. To discuss this now, I'm joined by Paul Hackett, CEO of Click and Go and the President of the Irish Travel Agents Association. Good morning, to you, Paul. I mean, is it going to happen? If it does, what is it and how will it work?
Well, you know, the EU Digital Covid Cert has been floated since November of 2020 and it was then launched in March this year. So the government have had huge notice to get this implemented. We are the only one of the 27 member states that has not gone live as of Thursday, the 1st of July, and we're going live this day, 2 weeks. But as you say, the uncertainty is around, are the government actually going to do this?
We're hearing ministers saying, and rumours yesterday in papers, that, oh, it's definitely not going to be ready by the 19th.
The good thing is every government minister who has spoken has said this will be delivered on the 19th of July. Oisin Smith, who's the minister with responsibility to deliver the EU Digital Covid Cert, said yesterday, this will happen on the 19th. The technology is there. I have everything ready to go. I think all of our concerns are around government decision-making because we've seen how close to deadlines government decision-making can change, and that's the worry.
So do you think, like, next week, if they see numbers rising again, they might go, we want to pause this because we're afraid of international travel?
I think over the last 15, 18 months, travel agents across the country would confirm to you that international travel has become toxic, and that's the worry. And, you know, wrongly so in many terms. And the EU Digital Covid Cert is a great opportunity for Europe to open up safely to international travel because it covers vaccination, recovery and negative COVID testing. So it is absolutely respectful of public health.
So if you're booked on a flight after the 19th, and I'm sure many people are watching the show this morning are, what exactly will happen? How do you get your cert, your green cert?
This is part of the problem, and this is why I think confidence needs to be restored on the part of government with some information about how we're actually going to access these EU Digital Covid Certs. They're telling us they're going to implement them, but tell us how. How do we get them? Where do we get them? What portal do we go to? Are they going to be emailed to us? All of those questions are outstanding for us, for the airlines, for the airports, for everybody. So
do you mean the Irish Travel Agents Association still don't know how this is going to work? They haven't been told?
We know what the EU Digital Covid Cert does.
So what do they do? What are they doing in Spain and France, say, when they came in weeks ago?
So you go to the equivalent of your HSE and you enter your equivalent of your PPS number and you get a certificate back which will have your vaccine details. Like, we have seen these. It's not that they're new. This is the same technology, same certificate across all EU member states.
So it should be as simple as that, as entering your PPS number, and something comes up, you can download it onto your phone and it's there, or print it out.
Like, it is really straightforward, simple technology. This is, you know, the same tech, the exact same cert across all member states. The Irish government just haven't given it to us yet. But in answer to your question, what happens on the 19th of July, we do have travel restrictions in place in Ireland right up until the 18th of July. So it's, you know, technically illegal to travel for non-essential purposes to an airport or a port. And there's also fines. The good news is from the 19th of July, that's gone. And the good news is from the 19th of July, if the Digital Covid Cert comes in, we can use that. And if you're vaccinated, you can travel within Europe as a vaccinated person with nothing more, no tests into or out of Ireland. So for vaccinated travellers, this is a very clear benefit.
But Paul, do you still have to check the country you're going to and what their requirements are? Or is that wise to do, even if you're fully vaccinated?
Every country can impose its own restrictions, but for the most part, when you're fully vaccinated, this is a mass harmonisation piece across the EU, and that's what the EU wants. So if you are fully vaccinated and you're travelling within the EU, there are no further requirements on you in terms of testing or anything else to do with that, because you're fully vaccinated.
There was concerns that there was going to be hours of queues, and this was going to be the new thing, that we were going to be queuing for hours going out of the airport, arriving in another airport because of all these new checks. Did that actually come into play after the first in airports around Europe?
We've heard that there were some delays at different airports, but I think this is more teething problems. Like, this is something new for border control to have to deal with. It's a QR code on your phone. Airports and airlines are really well geared to managing queues into and out of airports, right through the queuing process in airports onto the aircraft. So they will manage this. And the other thing to remember, Alan, volumes are going to be down. We are not at 2019 or anything like those levels. The predictions are that it'll be 20–25%, so the airports will be able to cope. And the other really important thing to remember with regard to travel is this is going to be super safe. you're going to be on an aircraft with other vaccinated people or people who have negative COVID tests. So you're going to be in an environment that is safer than going into your local shop.
Well, Dr. Cillian de Gascon last week saying that travel is a greater risk than indoor dining.
I know, but Dr. Cillian de Gascon, with all due respect, we have a 500-kilometre open border, and this day next week is the 12th of July. That's when Northern Ireland people go on holidays. 75% of cases in the north are the Delta variant, and they're just going to cross over the border. That's the reality.
What do you say when you hear NEFID and you hear Dr. Tony Hoolan saying, like, as president of the Travel Association for Agents for Ireland, when you hear things like, if you're not fully vaccinated, you shouldn't be going away. And so that's all those young people who travel agents right across the country are depending on to go in and book a holiday. What do you say to him on that?
Well, one of the key things that the EU wanted to achieve when they created the EU Digital Covid Certs was equality. They didn't want to force people into vaccination, and they were very mindful that there were some people who would not be vaccinated because of age or because of immuno issues. So it covers vaccination, recovery and testing, so it allows people to have a choice. The medics can, advise what they do. The government really needs to get a grip and make the decisions here.
Have people lost their jobs in your industry over the last?
Oh, totally. Like, we've had no redundancies in our business, but we've lost over 40% of our staff, and that would be standard across the industry. We are losing some great talent. Travel covers leisure, but it also covers visiting friends and relatives, and it also covers corporate. So there's vast amounts. There's 1.4 billion worth of business in Irish travel businesses in a normal trading year. We're 95% down, and the industry has zero supports at this stage other than the wage subsidy. So it's a really challenging piece for all of us in the sector and all of our staff.
And I suppose it's not only that when you go into your travel agents or you're anywhere around the country, they can also book you stuff in Ireland.
Oh,
and
totally.
Don't forget that.
Yeah,
that's what people think, oh, I'll go on. But you can go in and you're supplied to Ireland as well with staycations.
Look, consumers have massive protection when they book with a travel agent. And now more so than ever, post-COVID, they should be using their local travel agent for that advice, understanding the rules that apply in the various countries. And the service levels are just superb. You're dealing with experts and you're getting all that consumer protection. And as you say, most of us have adjusted and changed our business models to offer domestic holidays.
We shall see over the next 2 weeks. Paul, maybe come in on the Monday morning on the 19th and fill us in on exactly. Yeah. You can show us how to download our digital green cert.
I'd like nothing more.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Now, after the break, we look back on a jam-packed weekend of sports. Stay with us.